This is Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thitoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
Attack and dominate. On this New Year's Eve Wednesday, I'm Tito, Jeff Thitoff. He's Bodie Wells. We are both very well lit. Bobby Carpenter is hanging out with Aaron Rodgers in a house of darkness somewhere. Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, Mr. Thitoff. How are you doing today?
Long time no see, buddy. How was Christmas?
Christmas was good. I can't really complain. Kids, I think, enjoyed it. They had a good Christmas, which I think is all that really matters at this point. I know it looks like I'm in this house of darkness, but I'm in this huge room, and there's lights all over the place, and I didn't know if it'd be better to try to just if I start like putting up the backlights and everything. They upgraded me to a suite so I've got some sort of I've got a fairly large room back here. So as the light comes in, you got to remember it's 5 o'clock here too in Dallas.
That's fair.
So as the light comes in, and if the Buckeyes win tonight, then next time if I go to, which I'm planning to, the Fiesta Bowl, it'll be even earlier, which is tremendous.
And we'll have you and your Highness probably side by side that day, right?
It'll be an early one, to say the least. I've done that before. I actually called a game out there on Friday night. I was calling a high school game for ESPN on a Friday night, and I woke up and did the show from 3 to 6 out there, which was tremendous. Went back and took a nap. My flight wasn't until like noon. So, yeah.
Got a big show lineup for you. Lots of Ohio State, Miami talk. In the NHL tonight, the Jackets host the Devils at 7 o'clock. OSU men play at Rutgers on Friday night at 8 o'clock. Cavs host the Suns today at 3:30. OSU women, the 19th ranked Buckeyes and Kevin McGuff's squad, have a 12:30 matinee with Purdue. Morning Juice sponsored by Riverside Bank in Dublin. 2 full hours here on YouTube, the Fan app, HD3. Download the show anytime. Catch us from 10 a.m. to noon on 10 TV Plus. Also live on Facebook and Twitter. Bob, let's do some today in history. Let's do this first way. I want to say, in addition to the Ohio State game, I want to make sure I get the other games in for today. You also have Iowa and Vanderbilt in the ReliaQuest Bowl at noon. The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl featuring Arizona State and Duke at 2 o'clock. Michigan, Texas at the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That's 3 o'clock. And then the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, Nebraska and Utah. That's at 3:30 before we get to Ohio State taking on Miami tonight at 7:30.
Any scores from last night, Tito? I woke up this morning and saw that the crybaby Lincoln Riley lost again.
I was waiting for that. Did you see how they lost, Bodie?
I saw the 3rd and 20, Bob, and that's, maybe if he'd stop crying about losing to Notre Dame every year, maybe you'd get a stop on that play, Bob.
Get a stop. Learn how to make a tackle. Push the guy out of bounds. Anything. I mean, my goodness. I'm like, no, there's no way. As I'm watching that live, I'm like, he's not going to score. There's 6 guys over there. All they got to do is push him out of bounds. He's literally tiptoeing down the sideline. And that was the worst attempt at tackling I've ever seen in my life.
TCU did beat USC 30-27 in overtime. Illinois got on the right side for the Big Ten.
That's the first loss for the Big Ten all year. That's the crap that USC's giving you right there. First loss in the bowl season by the Trojans, and it's that one in that manner.
Illinois beat Tennessee 30-28. La Tech over Coastal Carolina 23-14 in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. So yes, that one just rolls off the tongue. But now, Bobby, speaking of things rolling off the tongue, roll off some history, my friend.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
A lot of history's happened since the last time you did one of these, Bob.
I know. I enjoy listening to him. You guys kind of gave all that to Bodie. I sent this over to him last night. I actually did this my last day before I was working now, which was back in like December. Forgot. I'll tell you about my flight story. I was going to go grab my sheet. I didn't have time to do it, so I had to redo it, and then thankfully, my man Bode's got all this done when I sent it over to him last night. Did you come in this morning and get all this pulled up, Bodes?
Oh, yeah. Can't cry about having a lot on my plate, Bob, when my goal was to eat.
That's the line of the year right there. It's the last day.
Great day to drop that.
It is December 31st, the final day of the year. 365 in the bag, 0 to
Jason
go.
Tatum.
The state, yep, exactly. The state's 1796. The city of Baltimore is incorporated. The state 1862. President Abraham Lincoln signs an act admitting West Virginia as a state and adding them into the Union, a split from the eastern part of Virginia, which was part of the Confederacy. 1879, Thomas Edison gives his first public demo of the incandescent light bulb. How about that? That's what they used to do for excitement back in the day. Add states, show off the light bulbs, fun stuff. And then this date in 1907, the first ball drop in Times Square.
Nice pause there, Bob.
Yeah, that was good there, Bob. I was going to say, I can't remember what my favorite one was, but go ahead.
You watched? Do you sit there and watch that off, or you go to bed tonight?
I will stay up until the Ohio State game is over. Then I will go to bed. I will not watch another ball drop. They do have a record one. I guess the biggest one they're going to have ever. It's like 6 tons is the one dropping today.
How about that?
You know, when they lost to Georgia a couple years ago,
I was thinking about
it all happened. It all happened at the same time. It was so terrible. It was like the last thing of the last year and the first thing of the next year. Like, as I'm watching, I want to say Jaden Fielding, but whoever it was line up.
Ruggles.
Yeah, there were Noah Ruggles and Noah Struggles. And
Norwood.
Coach Norwood's, like, it was close, but it looked good.
That's fair.
That thing looked like one of the McAfee kicks, all right? I mean, and we were indoors.
Right.
We were indoors. There was no wind. There was nothing there. Ball dropping tonight, though. First time it ever happened in 1907. This date, 1955, General Motors Company, GMC, becomes the first company in the world to bring in $1 billion in revenue in a single year. This date, 1961, the Beach Boys perform for the first time in Long Beach, California.
Here they are with their big hit number, I Get Around. The Beach Boys. Round, round, year round, I get around, yeah. Get around, round, round, I get around,
I mean, Thitoff, you're just bobbing head. The little, like,
I got a bobble. That's all I do. I know. I know.
That's we got to get something better than that. Like, that we need. I don't care. That's fine. You can
put
do
a steering wheel in
want,
front of me, and I can like tap on it like I do when I'm driving. Play the drums a little bit on steering
tap
wheel.
On it. Or the hand out the window, tap it on the top of the car while you're doing it too.
Yep.
There you go. That was my dad's move. This date, 1966, the Monkees starting its 7-week run at number 1. I'm a believer.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
There you go.
Better.
Good job, Donkey.
Monkeys better than Beach Boys. There, I said it.
Monkeys superior. That's your take.
That's it.
Today.
That's a tidbit there. It's a hot take. Monkeys better than Beach Boys.
We're coming strong here, Bodie, on the final day of the year. Good for him. This date, 1966 as well. The Cleveland Metro Parks open up their toboggan chutes right outside of Strongsville, Ohio. We'll be taking the kids up there. They're frozen. They're sweet. It's a good time. It's amazing that they were built all the way back then.
Sounds safe.
It is. Oh, dude, they're on the side. Like it is. It's super safe. You go like 40 miles an hour down.
Do you really? I've never been up there.
You got to walk. Oh yeah, it's a good deal. I've taken all the kids. My son Caleb, it's one of his favorite things to do. So yeah, we're going to be heading back up there in like January 10th or something like that.
Artie's free that day, just so you know.
Well, we're staying the night. I mean, so if he wants
Artie's
to
free that night too.
Actually, he has a basketball game at 6. So whatever the date is, he has a basketball game at 6 o'clock the day before. So come up afterwards. I know some other folks that'll be traveling up. This date, 1973, Journey making their debut in San Francisco.
So this was from a concert about 8 years later, but you never need an excuse to
That's
play
okay.
some Journey.
No.
Little Steve Perry rocking there. So that Beach Boys was that opening concert. You were able to find that?
So when I searched it on YouTube, it just said Beach Boys Live, and it was the year that you mentioned. I don't know if it was the concert, but it was a concert that year.
That's good.
So.
But you know what? You sold it like you believed it. So I give you credit there. This date 1974. Big news as a man named Lindsay and a woman named Stevie join Fleetwood Mac. I love that song. Stevie Nicks. I mean, I knew Stevie Nicks was a chick just because she's on the vocals.
Right.
I had no idea that off till probably 5 years ago that Lindsey Buckingham was a dude.
Right.
I mean,
and the drama in that
I guess
band
I knew
too.
this. Well, yeah, and they dated. All that was like news to me. I had a girl in my class growing up, like in elementary school, that was named Stevie, so that wasn't really all that jarring. Still have never met another dude named Lindsay, though.
There was an old-time famous broadcaster, Lindsey Nelson. That's the only other male Lindsey I've ever heard of. But that guy was he was famous for like his crazy jackets he wore, but he was did like NFL, MLB, all those kind of sports for I think CBS it might have been. But
I remember the Nelson twins.
the Nelson, the Gunner was one of them. I don't know what the other was. The Gunner and the other guy. Yeah. But Stevie Nicks was with Lindsey and then started fooling around with Mick Fleetwood and Christine McVie, I think, who was married to John McVie, may have fooled around with Lindsay.
There you go.
Yeah. That's all I
like
got.
that. A lot of drama right there.
Yes.
Thanks, Thitoff, for filling me in.
You're welcome.
Big day over in for Shark. He was very excited about this. The first president of Russia, Boris Yeltsin, resigns on this date, 1999. You know who took his place?
Who took his place? Was it Putin?
Yeah, Putin, old Vladdy Putin.
Yeah.
And, outside of I think a 4-year where he just was only the prime minister, he's been really running the country ever since. A nice little 25-year banger for him heading into year 26. So kudos to Putin for getting that done.
Mr. Yeltsin resigned as president this morning, telling the Russian people that he'd done all he can. He named the Prime Minister, Vladimir Putin, as acting president until elections next March.
After years of fevered speculation about what would come after Boris Yeltsin, it all ended like this. Thank you very much, Vladimir Putin said, casually accepting the leadership of the world's largest country. The transfer of the secure briefcase containing the nuclear button and control of Russia's strategic arsenal came next.
That's wild. Do you think in that next election, Bodie, that Putin was the only one on the one on the docket, or was that later?
I would assume so. And
I don't know. I think at the beginning they actually did have free and open elections.
Okay.
And then as Putin
until
slowly
those people
consolidated
turned
control.
up dead.
Right, yes.
Yeah,
could
the
you
rest
do
of the folks.
Could you do a write-in candidate like on that one? You can do write-in candidates here for hours. Could you put a write-in candidate in on that one? And would you live after you did it?
Well, here's the thing. You probably could, but to quote the late great Charlie Murphy, he had lost his appetite.
Society.
Yeah.
Oh goodness! Some birthdays today. Mr. Don James, born on this date in 1932, the head coach of Kent State and Washington, or University of Washington. The Huskies winning a natty back in '1, and the Massillon, Ohio native.
The Dog Father. Generations of Huskies, players, alumni, and fans have looked up to Don James for decades with abiding awe and respect for what he has accomplished and for what he has stood for. From the hard-nosed, never blink in the face of an opponent football coach who went to 6 Rose Bowls and won a national championship, to the father figure who guided and directed the growth and development of the young men in his program, Don James has had an enduring impact on Husky football. Under his direction, the Huskies brought home 6 conference titles. In 1991, Coach James won 4 distinct National Coach of the Year honors when he led his team to an undefeated season that culminated in a national championship.
His first year as head coach,
Don,
Bob. Do you want to guess what his salary was? Head coach for Washington.
It was in the 70s.
He got hired in December of 1974.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I think he may have coached my uncle actually at Kent State. I think he was. Was he there with Saban? I want to say.
Let me see. He was at Kent State
maybe,
from
maybe
71
he
to
was
74.
He was like 70. Yeah, he may have been after. No. Yeah, he would have been after. Maybe he did coach Saban a little bit. He was after my uncle, though. I'm guessing, let's say $38,000.
$28,000 a year. 4-year deal, $28,000 a year. No, it's close.
Well, that was before he won a national championship. More famous, him or his brother Rick?
Yeah, it's hard telling, and it's hard to believe also that they are brothers of a different mother. But yeah, I would probably say I guess I'm going to go with Rick on that one. So I have not seen a true Hollywood story on Don James yet. And I don't think we're seeing one with Charlie Murphy.
No, unfortunately, R.I.P. Charlie Murphy
with the Queen.
Speaking of R.I.P., born on this date, 1943, lost him in 1997, Mr. John.
West Virginia. Mountain Highways.
Mama.
Mountain Mama. What was that on?
Mountain Mama.
I don't know.
Mountain Highways. That's what. Yes, I remember that iconic line.
Yes,
by John Denver.
Is that the
Blue
Andy
Ridge
Bernard
Mountains, Mountain Highways.
Dwight Schrute version of that?
I don't always get the words right.
Yes. Oh gosh, when they do that in the fiddle, like they're doing a little sing off together, it's so amazing, Doty. I'd forgotten about that episode. That's amazing. Born on this date, 1959. Star of many's Top Gun, Heat. Oh, goodness. Lost him this year. The one, the only, Mr. Val Kilmer.
You must be Doc Holliday.
Oh.
That's the rumor. You retired too?
Not me. I'm in my prime.
Yeah, you look it.
You must be Ringo.
Got 2 guns.
Look, darling. Johnny Ringo. The deadliest pistolier since Wild Bill, they say. What do you think, darling? Should I hate him?
You don't even know him.
No, that's true, but I don't know. There's just something about him. Something around the house. I don't know. Reminds me of me.
Oh, he starts spinning that little liquor drinking around. Have you ever seen Tombstone, Bodie?
I have not. I watched the scene this morning when I cut that up, and
Clips.
I watched it through, but have not seen the movie.
Oh, you would love it. It is a great movie. It's his role in that is probably his best work. It's so good. I mean, I got 2 guns. Probably seeing double. I got 2 guns, one for each of you. He's a classic. He is a classic. Unfortunately, lost to him. He had throat cancer and everything else, as well. Oh goodness, I'm sad. Did you find the clip of the next guy that I sent you, Bodie? The one that I was talking about.
It was related to that. Yes.
Did you know who he was before I had mentioned it? Had you seen?
Yeah, I knew who you would have been talking about there once the context was added a little bit. The name maybe immediately off the top of my head, don't know, but once it was like, oh, yeah, Utah Jazz, I was like, oh, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Thitoff, when you think of Byron Russell, what do you think about?
Oh, the push-off.
There you go.
Yeah, the push-off.
Well, it's his birthday. He turns 55 today, and let's hear about Byron Russell.
And Byron Russell came over to me and said, you know what, man, why'd you quit? Why'd you quit? You know I can guard you. If I ever see you in a pair of shorts, you remember this, John? And so when I did decide to come back in 1995, and then we played Utah in 96, I'm at the center circle, and Brian Russell sitting next to me, and I look over to Brian. I said, you remember this conversation you made in 1994 about I think I can guard you, I can shut you down, I would love to play against you. Well, you're about to get your chance. And believe me, ever since that day, he got his chance. I don't know how succeeding he was, but I think he had his chance, and believe me, I relished on that point, and from this day forward, if I ever see him in shorts, I'm coming at him.
Do you think that he called him Brian on purpose?
I think he did, yes. I think he did. I think much the same way Jim Tressel called me Ice. It's just to get in someone's head.
Like, I love that you made a big deal about it, Jordan. You put him in the in your story and then called him Brian as opposed to Byron. Yes. But all good. All good for the great one right there. Born in the state in 1995, turning 30 years old, U.S. gold medalist in women's gymnastics, Miss Gabby Douglas. And then some passings today. Passed away on this date, 2021. It's wild that it's been that long. I believe, I don't know if she hit 100. I think she was still 99. Maybe she did hit the big 100, Miss Betty White.
I can't believe this. I just can't believe I am hosting Saturday Night Live. I'm not sure. Many of you know that I'm 88 and a half years old, so it's great to be here for a number of reasons. You know, I have so many people to thank for being here, but I really have to thank Facebook. When I first heard about the campaign to get me to host Saturday Night Live, I didn't know what Facebook was. And now that I do know what it is, I have to say, it sounds like a huge waste of time.
18 days short, Bob, of 100.
Okay, I thought she got close. I didn't think she touched it. So that would have been she was 88 and a half. She passed away in 2021. We're looking at somewhere in 2009, I'm guessing, maybe early 2010, that she ultimately hosted SNL. So good. And then losing one of the great players of all time, one of the great dudes you will ever find. On this date, 1972, while trying to help others, the world lost Roberto Clemente.
Clemente is more than just an icon. Clemente goes beyond history, goes beyond baseball. I remember Manny Sanguillen, the catcher and his teammate, say one time, Roberto Clemente was so good that when he fell in the ocean and he lost his life trying to do goodwill, not even the ocean wanted to give him back. As we all know, Clemente's body was never found. But he said that was the main reason why the ocean didn't give him back, because he was that good.
Oh, Roberto Clemente.
3,000th hit on his final game.
That also is incredibly iconic. And he was still playing in 72, correct?
Yeah,
like, how old was he when he passed?
He was in his, I want to say he was like 37 maybe, or 36. I think he was still, but yeah, he was fantastic arm and just an incredible fielder. And he used to get so mad at the press because the press initially would call him Bobby because they didn't want to use the name Roberto. A lot of things. Back to the press, a lot of times they want to try to Americanize him as much as they could. They called him Bobby Clemente for a long time, and that really bothered him. He was 38 when he passed away. They ever call him
Boberto?
Boberto.
They go that way?
They didn't go quite that far, but yeah, it's he was so good though. He really was. Had a rocket for an arm. He could do it all. In his final year, he played 102 games. It looks like, had 10 home runs, 60 ribbies, and batted .312.
Good for him.
Yeah.
There we go. Well done. Some holidays and observances here. Well, it's the final day of the year. It is New Year's Eve. How about that? It is National Champagne Day as well. and No Interruptions Day, which is the last business day of the year. And those are your historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date, December 31st, the 365th day of the year, and 0 days remaining in this 2025.
Well done as always, General. Do you think we'll get through a whole show without me interrupting you?
No.
I don't think so either.
Zero chance of that.
I think that's fair. Coming up next, Chip Kelly's back in the Big Ten. We'll discuss that. Morning Juice.
My mom is a veteran, and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at mda.org today.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
One man is a national champion, NFL veteran, and local business leader. The other man is Tito. This is Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
All right. Go ahead, Bob.
Do you need a bank that truly values local business in this town? The opportunity to work alongside them as partners. Whether you're a small business or a large operation, Riverside Bank of Dublin, well, they got the right tools for the job. Riverside Bank of Dublin has the experience of working right here in Central Ohio. They understand the business climate in our area, and they'll help you reach your goals for this upcoming 2026 and beyond. So whether you need an SBA loan to get your big ground, a line of credit to keep your business running smoothly, or equipment financing to get your business up to scale, Riverside Bank will tailor a solution that fits your needs. Visit them at riverside.bank or stop in to get to know them in person at 6300 France Road. Riverside Bank of Dublin, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Bob, this news came across yesterday morning while we were in the doing our, I think, the first segment of the show yesterday, maybe a day in history when it came across about.
Yeah, it was.
Chip Kelly.
It's around. Yeah, probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock is when I saw it. So it sounds about right.
I know when you and I talked after Kelly was let go by the Raiders, and what would he do next? Would he coach anymore? He's I think would you say 64 years old? Is that right? If I'm not mistaken on that one.
Yeah.
Are you more surprised that he took a job again, or more surprised that it's Northwestern as the OC?
I would say this. I was a little surprised that this was that number one. I know he'd interviewed and talked about the Georgia Tech job. Like that was something that he had been, I guess, exploring. But yeah, I was a little surprised that he did take a college job, and this was the college job that he took, both on the fact that maybe he would accept it and the fact that Northwestern would bring him in and be willing, and I don't know monetarily what it looks like, but I'm guessing it's a fairly significant investment that they were making in their football program. Is there
offsetting language or just guaranteed money from Vegas for him? Do you know?
It's a good question. I don't have the ins and outs of his contract in there, so I can't fully testify. A lot of times there is offsetting language, but maybe, hell, the amount of money that he was getting paid,
right?
There's a good chance that maybe he negotiated in that he didn't want that in there.
Yeah, like I wondered about like if there would be, if he would take less from Northwestern maybe than market value just because of the fact he knows he's going to get $6 million total no matter what, in the upcoming year, if that was the case. And when you look at this hire for Northwestern now, and we obviously know what Chip did at Ohio State, and he's had success as an OC in different places. This year with the Raiders was not indicative, I don't think, of what Chip Kelly can actually do. But does this all of a sudden, like, I'm trying to think how significant this is going to be, how big of a change this will be for Northwestern? Because I got to believe it will. It can help in recruiting having a guy with that name and that stature in the position, right?
Oh, it has to help. I mean, the guy won a national championship as a coordinator. He's been he's a head coach at Oregon, had a lot of success. And then, the ties in the NFL. And listen, I think anybody that looks at it with sound mind isn't going to just put the entire Raiders situation at the feet of Chip Kelly and saying this is the reason the Raiders aren't good this year. He may have played a part or a role in that, but a lot of it is too, I think, the fact that they just had a kind of an inept roster with some different things. So, yes, having a guy who has NFL experience and the cachet that he's bringing to the table, I think, is a big deal. A BFD, if you will.
There you go. I can't wait to see what kind of impact it has for Northwestern. Maybe not necessarily next year, but you can turn things around pretty quickly. And maybe this will help out also when the portal opens up, as far as somebody that they might not have envisioned as a possible target that could be a target because Chip Kelly is there. And his influence he's going to have on that offense. It's going to be obviously vastly different than coaching the talent that he had at Ohio State. But nonetheless, though, I mean, this automatically has got to elevate Northwestern up a couple of spots when you look at the pecking order of the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You start looking, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who works over at XM and who kind of runs a lot of the stuff actually over there for us. And he was saying, you get the Big Ten hirings of what they did, with Matt Campbell going to Penn State. Now they kind of staggered their way getting there and didn't maybe do so in the most coherent manner possible. And Kyle Whittingham going to Michigan and Pat Fitzgerald going to Michigan State. I mean, just the fact of Chip Kelly going to Northwestern now as an offensive coordinator, that's wild to think that that's kind of where we're at now in Big Ten football, in a league that really hadn't invested in coaches, like maybe outside of some of the premier schools at all in their history. And now all of a sudden you're looking at some of these guys that are coming in the league, and whether they're head coaches or assistants, like that's a big deal.
It's funny when you look at the next year Ohio State hosts Northwestern, and I got to think when I looked at it, I was thinking, well, we had the way Jim Knowles left. Now Jim Knowles and Chip Kelly both left for more money when they left. I should say. I mean, it's a big part. I'm saying it's always they left, but they both got significant raises to leave after the national championship. And
plus, I would say this with Chip, like he was going to the NFL, which was everybody knew that's kind of where he wanted to be. So that's something Ohio State couldn't offer, and a significant raise. They were paying him more than most college coaches were making. Like he was making $6 million a year as the coordinator of the Raiders.
And so, it's the way I think Ohio State fans probably view each of those guys. There's much more of a enemy's the wrong word, but Jim Knowles did good things here. But there certainly is I think Ohio State's fan base is probably much more bitter. I think they'll be much more receiving if Chip Kelly comes back. There won't be this big campaign about booing and beating and all this kind of stuff. And plus, Northwestern's on the same level as Penn State.
Well, he went to the Raiders, got fired, and went to Northwestern.
Yeah.
He didn't kind of hold the team hostage the day before their national championship celebration, then even trying to get a new deal prior to the national championship game. Like, there was just a lot there that went into the whole Jim Knowles situation. And then he goes to Penn State.
Right.
This wasn't a situation where, like, he went to, the Giants at first and then got fired and then took the Penn State job. I mean, he went directly there and was trying to leverage that against the Buckeyes. And I think that's why the fans will look at that and think, like, that's kind of a spicy situation.
Do you think, was there ever a chance that there'd be a talk between him and Day about coming back to Ohio State to replace Hartline?
I'm not sure as to that. I had spoken with Ryan and talked about some stuff here, I don't know, last week before, I don't know what day was that, Friday day, but and I didn't get a chance to ask him about that. Had a lot of stuff going on. I was more concerned about the things that were happening with the team in the present. But I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Like, that's the speculation that everybody had. And I mean, I would have said that I think it would have been ignorant for most people to say that there was not conversations that happened about that. Now, what those conversations looked like that often and how serious they became, I don't know. I'm unsure about that as to if there was a real possibility or for something it was just kind of floated and they decided, what, to best to kind of leave things in the past, and we appreciate what you did here, but and I don't know, like you said, monetarily, if you had offset language in there, I mean, he could have came in. I mean, I don't know. So I'm saying, I would have thought that he would have,
right,
if he was going to return to college, come back here, but things, maybe there's directions and things that happen that people want to go different ways.
Yeah, it's it made sense perfectly when it first happened. It was like, oh yes, Hartline leaving, Chip Kelly's available. It makes sense. I got to believe. I would think that I would assume Day and Kelly still talk. They're friends. They've known each other for years. It's like it might not have gotten to like an official conversation, but I'm sure they talked. You know what I mean? And it could have come up, I guess, in some way. But I'm sure a lot of people wondered about that as well. All right, coming up next. By the way,
what's amazing too?
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things is like there's some people that were very critical, like, oh, don't bring Chip back. Look at what they did in the Michigan game. I'm like, okay, but then they also won a national championship with him.
Sure.
Like, are we going to sit here? Like, that's all. Someone's like, you couldn't beat Michigan. Like, it was a terrible performance by him there. I'm like, what are we talking about? Is that really what we're going to focus on? Not the 4 games after where you won a national title and how good much of the rest of the season looked? Like, focus on that? Like, come on now.
But that goes to, but Bob, that's Buckeye fan mentality for some people. Like, it's, yeah, sure, you won the national championship, but you didn't win every game. You didn't beat Michigan. It's like that's the old line. I think it was Johnny Carson said about the beautiful actress Raquel Welch, is that somebody was such a perfectionist they'd marry Raquel Welch and expect her to cook.
That cupcake on the wall over there?
Yes, I think that's that one. That might have been her. Was that her? I can't remember if it was her or not. Betty Grable, it might have been that. I don't know who that was. Anyway.
No, it was Was
it Raquel Welch? Was it her in that one?
She was. Yeah, she's the one from the Planet of the Apes. She's
you're right.
Cupcake on the wall.
The cupcake on the wall.
She's
you're
not
right.
saying anything.
Right. What do you say there, Buddy
Raquel
Bridges?
Welch is like, she's the only I don't know, starlet, if you will, or model, whatever you'd call her, from like the 60s that I would know because of her referencing in Shawshank Redemption, which I just watched the full thing, not TV edition, which I hadn't ever seen. So there's a little bit more colorful language in there, which was entertaining. But my oldest son had never seen it. And my wife and I, we watched it, I don't know, couple 4 or 5 days ago. And it was funny. He loved it. I'm like, it's a great movie when you sit down and watch. I hadn't seen the very beginning in a long, long time, but it was really good. But yeah, that cupcake on the wall, I was like, that's Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
And I tell my son, it's the only reason I know who she is because of that movie.
We will hear from Ryan Day, what he had to say in the 7 o'clock hour. They had a press conference there. We'll do that at the top of the next hour. But coming up next, we'll do quick hitters. Morning Juice.
Hey, folks, it's Jeremy Birmingham, Berm from the Austin and Berm Show here on 97.1 The Fan. I figured I owed you guys another check-in now that I'm 2 weeks into Awaken 180, and I'm happy to let you know I'm down 14 pounds. What surprised me really isn't that number. It's really how normal this feels. I'm not miserable, I'm not obsessing over food, and I'm not guessing. I'm just following the plan and watching it work. And that's why this matters. Because if you're like me, you've tried things before where week 1 feels exciting and week 2 feels exhausting. This is definitely not that. Awaken 180 gives me structure. It tells me exactly what I need to do and is with me to ensure that I'm doing it right. Ultimately, that's the difference. For someone like me who spends a lot of time on the road, in the car, and eating at weird hours, all that stuff matters. If weight loss is your goal this year, don't pick something you hope you can stick with. Pick something that's already sticky. 2 weeks, 14 pounds, and I'm just getting started. Find your own results and free support for life at awaken180weightloss.com.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
We build a brand new studio just for Bobby, and Tito has already ruined it just by being here. I'm pregnant. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice, the gang's back together again. First time since, December 6th maybe, Bo? Does that sound right?
I think it was the 8th.
8th.
Monday after the Big Ten championship game.
I think you might be right about that. So, thanks to all Juicers for tuning in. The chat is it's engaging as usual. Let's do some quick hitters.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
Good morning, Bodie Wells.
Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year's Eve day. Tomorrow, we'll be in the back half of the decade already. Pretty hard to believe. We'll start here with some college football following what was arguably the most disappointing.
That's depressing, Buddy, that you said that.
I was trying to be uplifting, but I guess
I'm doing today in history, and I'm already having to reset the calendar to 1 to 364.
I know.
And that's just, that's rough. But telling me that we're in the back half of the 2020s
I know. Isn't that
now.
Crazy? We started it with COVID.
I might as well.
Here we are. Made it.
Yeah, well, we're going to end it with COVID. I don't know.
You know, Bob.
That'd be fun.
It's going to be fun to see if Bodie comes up with numbers of guys, and we say there's 360 days left in the year, and see if he can come up with a player there with that war number 360. I think it's going to be fun to see that.
I have to lean into just, a rushing total or something.
There we go, yes.
I think that's how many yards we rushed for against Southern Cal this year. Speaking of disappointing teams, more disappointing than even USC. Following what was arguably the most disappointing season in the country this year, the Clemson Tigers are moving on from a pair of assistant coaches, most notably their offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley, brother of the crybaby Lincoln. Clemson, they were a top 5 preseason team, and they wound up, after losing a bowl game to a Penn State team, who also didn't have their head coach. The Clemson Tigers went 7-6.
And like 30 of their players.
Yeah,
Right.
other than that, what bowl game was that? The Pinstripe Bowl? Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
It was
Yes.
in the Bronx,
Yeah,
right?
sounds right,
In a release statement, head coach Dabo Sweeney said, quote, "At the end of the day, we just did not get the production and the results that we needed, and I just feel like it is time for a change, and so we will be moving in a different direction with a new offensive coordinator." Riley, he was with the Tigers for 3 seasons overall. He had just 2 years left on his contract. Bobby, bigger question here, bigger picture question for the Clemson Tigers. Is it just kind of over for them? Like, not 8, 9, 10 wins, but just national titles. It just feels like such a long time ago that Clemson was competing for them on an annual basis.
So Clemson was a lot of people's pick this year to win the national championship. They had Cade Klubnik coming back. He was the starter. They made the playoff last year. They talked about how they bolstered their offensive line. The receiving core was going to be better. Defensively, they weren't too bad. Like, they were pretty good this year. And there's one of their linebackers, Sammy Brown, who we tried to get at Ohio State, and when he went to Clemson, I was like, all right. And now I'm looking at him play out there, and he's like making plays. I'm like, this poor guy. He's playing Penn State in the Pinstripe Bowl. Could be playing tomorrow, tonight.
Game up in Rochester.
Rochester. That's basically what it was. It almost was in Rochester. That I felt like that game maybe for those teams should have been in Rochester, based upon their expectations of where they were going to be. But I think the days, I said this, I'm watching that game, I go, man, good win for Penn State and Terry Smith. Like, they didn't have either Singleton or Allen playing running back. I mean, they had really just a cast of characters. 30 guys were opted out. And they went out there and they put a beat down on them. Like, their guys looked excited, like they wanted to be there. In Clemson, you've got a quarterback that started a number of years for you. Most of your guys were playing, and Dabo talks about being the culture king. I'm like, well, if you're the culture king, why don't your guys seem to give a crap? Okay, like, why do they seem to be the ones out there just going through the motions? And it's pretty remarkable that that's the case. But I think the days where we're talking about Clemson as a legitimate national championship contender, I think those days, they're done. They're over.
That's very good, Herb Brooks there. Clemson, by the way, in 1990.
To bring it full circle for you.
That was good. 1990, Clemson won 10 games, and that was the last time they won 10 games before Dabo got there. Now, since Dabo's been there, they've won double. They've only had his first 2 seasons there. They won less than 10 games ever since, and they've never had back-to-back seasons of less than 10 wins. So I see, 7-6 this year, so they're in danger of that next year of maybe not getting to double-digit wins. But, yeah, it feels to me like they will still be relevant-ish, if that's a word. I'm with you, though, Bob. I don't see them competing. And I feel like we were, Clemson and Florida State were the ones that everyone was talking about.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Here's the question. In the ACC, which I think a lot of people would say is third, possibly fourth best conference now in college football. Miami, better than Clemson? As a program, not just this year, like where they're going, their commitment to everything. Do you think they'll be better moving forward?
I do.
So we have Miami. SMU.
I'd say yes there, too.
I think that's an obvious yes because of like what they're doing, what they're spending. I mean, they had a chance the final week of the season to still make the playoff.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got SMU, we've got Miami, Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
They just re-signed their coach.
Yep.
A lot of dollars flowing in. I mean, they were interviewing with Chip Kelly. They've been better the last couple of years. Okay, so I'd say Georgia Tech, probably close. How about Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech now? Yeah, I think Virginia Tech would be. Yes, they won't be able to beat anybody, but yeah, Virginia Tech will still they'll get the wins.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the ACC. Like, I'm not talking can they win a national title. I'm saying who do you think is going to be better? What program is in a better spot moving forward? I mean, we just mentioned 4.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm not afraid to probably throw Pitt in there as well, probably Louisville in there as well. Like, you're starting to talk about them being, somewhere maybe between on the high end 4 or I don't even think 3, but probably 4 to somewhere around 7 or 8 in like the commitment level with what they're doing and like their staff. I mean, Florida, we didn't even mention Florida State,
right,
by the way, because of their situation, but like they want to win, and they've just in a little bit financially hamstrung right now with their coaching situation and everything else. But I mean, you start talking about that, like, what are we doing? Like, that's not a national championship relevant team.
He's running out of people to fire and blame. You know what I mean? Like, he's at some point, because it seems like every year they're firing somebody
Riley
significant.
was supposed to be, like, bucking the trend. He
Yes.
was an outside hire, which Dabo is not one keen to do. He did a nice job at TCU before he came over to Clemson, and it still didn't work. I think the fact that we're even asking if they can win the ACC when we just name those programs, says a lot.
It does.
Even the fact that it's just like SMU, it's like, I don't know if I have a ton of faith in SMU, but the fact that you even have to ask that question for Clemson, I looked it up here. So this is their AP final ranking starting in 2015, okay? 2, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then once you get to 2021 to now, 14, 13, 20, 14. And of course, this season they're going to be unranked. I think the thing I don't understand with Dabo, too, is like you don't have to live in the portal. That's fine. But where would Ohio State be right now? And Ohio State does not live in the portal. But where would they be right now if they didn't have IGB, Caleb Downs, Max Clare, even a guy like CJ Donaldson? The program wouldn't be terrible, but would you be playing tonight?
You'd be Clemson.
Maybe. I don't know if I think Ohio State would fall that far, but maybe you drop an extra game each year. And 10-2, like all of a sudden, maybe you're not getting into the playoff or whatever, where instead you only lost one game and it was by 3 points in the Big Ten championship game. It doesn't have to be, totally roster overturned. Just supplement a couple positions here and there. And Dabo just seems completely, absolutely, vehemently against that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not, you don't have to live there, but it's a supplementation. And like, you look at all these, like Notre Dame, they're not a big portal team. Their quarterback last year was a portal guy. Like Ohio State had Will Howard. They brought in Quinshon Judkins. Like, you're not going and getting 30 guys in the portal, but you have to get probably between 5 or 8, because here's the thing. You can say you don't want to participate in it, but your players participate in it, and you lose guys in the portal. So when you lose a sophomore that should play the next year, sometimes you have to go in there and replace that guy, because you can't just bring in a high school kid and expect an 18-year-old to be the same as a guy who's 20 or 21 that like is conditioned and ready to play. And that's kind of, I feel like, where they're at. And I'm like, talk about culture that matters. Well, yeah, it does, and all those things are true and real. So if your culture is that strong, it shouldn't be a big deal for you.
And you could find guys in the portal that fit your culture. Like, it's not like it doesn't take, like you said, Bob, an overhaul of the roster. 5 to 8 guys, there's no question they could go in and help Clemson. And look, they weren't very good this year, obviously, but they made the playoff last year, and maybe you win a playoff game or two if they were a little bit stronger at some of their weaker positions, if they had revamped it there in the transfer portal. Moving on to the NFL here, it seems like every single season for the past few years, we ask the question, will Andy Reid keep coaching the Chiefs? That question normally pops up in February after they have either won or lost the Super Bowl.
Eating some of those nuggies.
But we're going to ask that, the tendies, according to Wendy's there. Of course, this year, the Chiefs, they're not only not going to make the Super Bowl, they're not even going to make the playoffs, so they're asking that question now. And Andy Reid's answer remains pretty much the same. He said, quote, to reporters earlier this week, quote, I mean, I think I'm coming back, right? I think if they'll have me back, I'll come back. You never know in this business. That's a tough one. But yes, I plan on coming back. Tito, he's a no-doubt Hall of Fame coach, but it could be a bit of a rebuild there for Kansas City. But, hey, having Andy Reid certainly helps for next year.
I can't see him not being there next year. And for the next few years even. He's 18 wins behind George Halas to get to third on the, not that he's chasing that, but to be third on the all-time coaching list for wins behind Belichick and Shula is where Halas is. It just seems to me like, yes, they had a difficult year. They had injuries this year. You've got an aging roster, yes. But I still think they are a team that can compete for a championship with a couple of tweaks next year, and they're going to have a higher draft pick than they normally have, so they should be able to get a better player than they're used to getting in drafts. Who knows about Kelsey, what he's going to do, if he's going to retire or not. It feels like he will. But if they just hit on a couple of draft picks, maybe get a free agent in there, that all of a sudden they could again be among the teams competing for a Super Bowl and have a chance to do it. It's just this year was a tough year for them, and you couldn't expect them to keep doing this, what they were doing every single year.
Well, a part of it, no, you can't. And part of it is, too, when you start looking at this is the challenge. Like, he did something that very few people, have done. You look at the success he built in Philly, then he brought it and took that to Kansas City and had even more success. And, yeah, part of it's the drafting and development of Pat Mahomes. But this is the thing Bill Belichick was able to do. He really had 3 separate runs with Brady.
Mm-hmm.
With the teams that they constructed. They had that initial team that won 3 Super Bowls. They had kind of the middle team that never really won a Super Bowl, but they got to 2 and lost. And then they had the final rendition of them where they ultimately won 3 more Super Bowls. And you look at this. They drafted Josh Simmons. Hopefully, he continues to develop. They've drafted well on defense. They've got some young wide receivers. Like, can they continue to develop as they move past, like, the Chris Jones and Travis Kelce era of the Tyreek Hill era of the Chiefs? Like, those guys are kind of done now. And as we move into this next era, can we kind of reinvent how they play? Because Mahomes has still got another, I think as long as he stays healthy and doesn't have anything crazy happen, he's got another probably 6 to 8 years of high-level football should they be able to kind of piece it around him.
Interesting too, Bob. When you look at the teams that are left, that's my only concern with what gives me pause is that if you look at the quarterbacks that are left right now as competing for the Super Bowl, you've got a bunch of younger quarterbacks outside of.
Well,
go ahead.
So here's the one thing, like that happened in New England too.
Yeah,
the Jets made championships with Mark Sanchez, and like that was supposed to be the future dynasty. There was all those young guys coming up. And then Brady just eventually crushed them all back down into the sea from where they came.
Sanchez isn't down there with you, is he?
No, I don't know if he can fly. I think he can fly now.
Okay. I'm just saying,
happy to have Amigo.
Look, I know if your Amigo wants to hang out, though, tonight.
That's Bodie's favorite line.
I know, yes, I know.
Just happy to be alive, Amigo.
If he asks you to hang out tonight or tomorrow night, I would say just pass on that if you don't mind for the sake of the show.
Tomorrow night I'll be in Columbus, so maybe we'll go stop by your house Thitoff and get real wild.
I don't think you want any part of that. Him and Artie could have a knife fight. Coming up next, we'll hear from Ryan
maybe
Day.
Heather, who knows?
And you're right, exactly. We'll hear from Ryan Day and also something Mario Cristobal said. We'll do that next. Morning Juice.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. You've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place, and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. One man is a national champion, NFL veteran, and local business leader. The other man is Tito. This is Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
Morning Juice. It is Bobby. It is Tito. It is Bodie Wells. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, by the way. It's a Your Highness. It's a Brody Thursday tomorrow.
I haven't seen Your Highness in a minute.
Yes. Your Highness will be, he has broken in Justin Zwick and Big Mo. And also he's had a time with Austin Ward. So it'll be his first time with Bodie and Bobby together in quite some time. Here's Ryan Day talking yesterday at the Cotton Bowl press conference about how he keeps the team locked in.
When you get guys into the routine, they're able to focus and concentrate more on the preparation. And that is a challenge, though, when you go to a different environment like this, is to avoid the distractions, and that's a big emphasis point.
Bobby, I would say, as far as I think you're probably one of the most locked in people with what's going on in that program. You are around it all the time, and you have great relationships with the coaching staff, with Ryan. As you're watching,
how about this? One of the young guys yesterday, I was over there shooting the live show with Austin and Berm over at the Hilton Anatole, and we're right outside, like where the players' meetings and everything are. And one of the guys comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, Coach, where's the special teams meeting at?" I'm like, "Well," he goes, "Yeah, it starts at 3:15." I'm like, I just walked in and I was unfamiliar. Like, I was like, "It's probably one of those rooms back there." I'm like, "Dude, it's 3:14." Right. He's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Go start opening doors, dude. Like, what are we?" And Austin's like, "What was he saying?" I'm like, "He wanted me to tell him where the special teams." I just literally got here. I came straight from the airport, and I'm like, I don't even know if he knows my name. Right? Maybe he does, but like, I go, I guess I'm around enough that he would think that I would have a knowledge into the scheduling and where, like, as if I have like the little itinerary of where everything is.
So, as you were around the team last year at this time, going into the first playoff game. And coming off a loss, I know it's different because they got the bye this time, but they're still coming off a loss. Is there anything different about the mentality, about the mood, about the vibe around the team than last year?
Well, I think last year, you had the home game, and there was the worry of Tennessee and the Neyland North, and it was after the Michigan game, which I think that this is real. And I was talking to Austin about this yesterday, of just the emotional toll that winning that Michigan game took. I mean, it's a physical game, but getting that just kind of monkey off their back, like as a program, and also for Ryan and for some of those players that had been a part of it. And, I think that there was a little bit of that just drug over into Indiana, who had a bye week and then beat the hell out of Purdue the week before. So they were more emotionally geared up for that game. Well, now, you were going on the road. You were, basically number one all season long, nearly wire to wire. You lost a close one to Indiana in the Big Ten championship. And I think those guys are ticked off, but then you also get to carry that confidence from last year for most of the guys of understanding, and even the guys who weren't playing. Hell, most of the freshmen were like on the team for the run. I mean, they were there on the sideline. And so you get to have that confidence of knowing, like, it's all comes down to us.
Right.
So, yeah, listen, we can be ticked off about the loss, but we have all that we need to go be able to make this run. We've done it before, so let's lock in. And Ryan does as good a job as anyone now, and it was proven last year. Let's get guys rested, but let's also make sure that we're practicing hard enough to be sharp. And they've done a lot of studies on this, the sports science piece of like how to practice, how much, how hard to push guys and different things. And like, that's why you see a team that comes out that looks rested, but not grown.
That's not good. Looks like Bobby's frozen up on us here. Unless he's either. Oh, there we go. Now you're back, Bobby. You were frozen there for a second. If you had a stroke or you were okay? That's all right.
I did have a stroke, but I'm good. I bounced back.
Of course you do.
Yeah, they're focused, ready to go. Like, and Ryan does a good job of kind of locking those guys in on all that stuff.
One of the things that, based on just the way when it was announced that Hartline was leaving, the offense putting up 10 points against Indiana, and then now the news about how the fact that Ryan Day has said he's going to play a bigger role in the play calling. Here's Ryan Day talking about where Hartline's going to be and the changes that are going to go on with the play calling.
Brian and I will be down on the field. We'll have Keenan go upstairs, and then Brian can really help. He'll still be involved with everything that we do. Everybody's involved with the play calling. Ultimately, I'll have the last say, but he's going to come down, help with the receivers, and then Keenan will go up and help organizationally.
And you've said from the start, Bob, that it is a collective effort. It always has been a collective effort as far as the game planning goes. And so maybe this isn't a huge difference. Maybe it's not going to be a huge deal. But if Ohio State's offense does not look sharp, everyone's going to, I should say, most people are going to point to that. Well, yeah, it's Hartline. That's the reason, because of all the upheaval with the Hartline leaving and the fact that he's not focused on Ohio State, which I don't believe to be true. But that's where most people are going to put the blame if Ohio State's offense doesn't look sharp.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's fine. Hart's ready to go. Like he was at all the practices. Like, he's been in the meetings. You know, he had to get some stuff worked out at first, and then I think it was prudent for them to make the decision and go with it like they did. Where, hey, you know, we'll move Keenan Bailey to the box. Brian Hartline, you know, he's going to be taking a step back from the play calling. Ryan will take that on, which that's one more thing he's got to do. But now he's a little more experienced at, you know, being a guy who hasn't called plays on the sideline, and you know, Keenan will get up there, and those guys all have a good relationship. And Ryan has always said it's ultimately been his say anyway, as far as where it's going. And I'd be more concerned about this Thitoff, if you were trying to do this, like if they would have tried to do this the Indiana week. We're like, okay, now this happened, and there's like 2 or 3. Whereas now you had 3 weeks to really figure this thing out of what you want to do.
Yeah, you're right. The bigger gap in this, and the fact that, and I think it'll be low-hanging fruit to complain, to say it's about Hartline if the offense doesn't look great. But ultimately, I think it's a bigger, if the offense does not look sharp, I would say it's not because of Hartline. I would say it's for other reasons. Maybe just lack of execution, but it's maybe just game planning by the other side of the ball. But I'm not going to put this on Hartline's feet if the Ohio State offense scores 16 points.
And one of the other things, you got to remember, they had the early signing period, and that was Wednesday, the early signing day. And you had the Chris Henry saga that was dragging out. And like, I think that it wasn't just Hartline. Like, all those things just kind of permeated on the offensive side, permeated some of their preparation and everything. And as much as you try to get it all done, I mean, when you're a head coach and you're having to talk about, you know, Chris Henry on Thursday and Friday committing, and like having calls with his agent and crap, like before and after practice, like that those things matter. Like, that's, as much as you can say that it doesn't, like that takes away from, you know, your ability to focus on maybe the task at hand sometimes. That's why the calendar sucks.
Here is, the calendars. I remember we had Bjork in studio, and he talked about that. And it's still worse than it was back then. And Bjork wasn't happy with the way it was set up before. It certainly sucks now. I don't know why they can't fix this, Bobby. It seems like a simple fix on the calendar.
Because all the coaches complain, they're like, oh, you know, the guys, they can't, you know, do this. They got to leave their teams, and that sucks. And say, well, hey, we could move the portal to May. Well, no, we don't want to move the portal to May, because if we do that, then we won't have our players like the whole off season. And I'm like, what are we talking about?
Right. Look, the guys are leaving. You don't need to have them the whole season anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, whatever. Anyway.
Like, that's the thing. Like, it's 6 one way, half dozen the other, and they just complain about both sides of them. Like, well, you're ruining the game. Like, this is how it needs to go.
Ryan Day talked about the challenges about Miami's defense.
First off, you see the the size and the talent, but when someone says a team's talented, to me, you know, it's like talent is one thing, but the way they play is different. And I think that says a lot about, you know, the coaches and how they put their guys in a situation to be successful, how hard they play. And so, they're as good as anybody in the country. And it starts with the guys up front and goes all the way to the back end. So it's a tremendous challenge for our offense. And they've built it the right way from the inside out. And so, we've worked hard to prepare and go play our best football.
That, to me, Bob, is going to be the key of the game, is if the offensive line can protect Julian Sand and open up holes for the running game. I think that that's where Miami's got the best chance to impact this game in their favor, is through the defensive line and putting pressure on Sand. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, those are where their best players are. I mean, Bain and Masador up there, they're really good. And the part of it is, too, Ohio State didn't look great up front, especially in the first half against Indiana. That was a big part of it. So people are naturally going to lean in to say, well, they had issues there, so those issues are going to be reoccurring. And then you're starting, Gabe Van Sickle, a new, guard. And so what's that going to look like? And I'm like, hey, he played the second half, and they played actually better in the second than the first. Tegra's knee was bothering him. Like, I think, and he played a lot, but leading into that, I think they're in a good spot. But yes, these receivers are so good that nobody can guard them if you give them time. So, that's true kind of everywhere. And where Miami is really strong is on the defensive side of the ball, but especially up front. So, yes, I think your assertion in saying, can you block them up and can you get some holes? And even then, the run game against Indiana wasn't bad.
No.
If you look at Bo Jackson and you just look at his rushing numbers and you pull out the 6 sacks that Julian had, because those come off of that.
Right.
I mean, he rushed it for about 5 yards a carry. He was an effective running back. So, they've done some good things. They'll be okay. But, yeah, you've got to block a couple of guys up front that are really good.
Will they do anything different schematically to offset that? Because you just played Indiana, again, very good up front, Indiana the same way. I'm not saying they're as talented as Miami is, but they're very talented up front.
They do things differently. I don't know if they'll, Indiana stunned it and moved a ton. I don't know that Miami does that. They'll bring some second-level pressure, but they're a little more like, we're better than you. We're just going to let our guys work. They will put Masador and Bain on the same side and kick Bain down inside at times, because he's a bigger guy. And they may do that to Ohio State's right side and try to test Phillip Daniels and Gabe Van Sickle and see what they look like over there. So I'm not saying that that's not real, but there's things with Ohio State. Yeah, there's different ways to block it up. You can obviously chip those guys. You can use some tempo. You can run the ball a lot to try to do that. So, yeah, there's some things that they can do that, Ryan's smart. He knows all this. I'm not reinventing the wheel to him. But, yeah, there are things that they can, and I'm guessing will do to try to slow down this Miami front.
Matt Patricia's impact was discussed by Ryan Day, and here's what he had to say about that.
It started with building trust within the building. I think for us, we felt very strong about our defensive staff. So to find somebody that was willing to come in on his own and not have to bring in a bunch of people and then to adapt with what we had says a lot about Matt. Matt is a good man. He's a good dad. He's a good husband. He really dives into the players, dives into the relationships with the guys on the staff. But he's also very intelligent and has a tremendous background of winning football. So his experience of being in the NFL, playing, in the NFL playoffs and everything that comes with that was, quite honestly part of the reason why we brought Matt in. Not just the football part of it. It was also all the off the field stuff. And I think the credibility when the minute we walked in the building was clear. The guys felt like just like any other player, they want a coach that's going to get them better. And they feel like that with Matt. They believe in Matt. So that part has been great, and I think the relationship has been strong there, and you can see them playing for each other. Most of my life as an Ohio State fan, Bob, I have been more excited about watching the offense from year to year, especially during the Urban era and with recently with what's going on with Ryan Day. And then it's like the last time I was this excited about watching Ohio State defense in a game like this would have been the 0-2 game back then, or the 0-3 I guess would be the game against Miami with you guys, with that defense you guys had. But I cannot wait to see how Matt Patricia frustrates Miami's offense and Carson Beck. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, how they use some of these really talented defensive players. They've got All-Americans at all 3 levels.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be first-round draft picks. You're checking all the boxes. So, yeah, there's a lot there to be excited about. And Matt Patricia puts you on another level schematically. So that's a big deal for him.
Mario Cristobal talked about how he lost the recruiting battle for Jeremiah Smith.
Obviously, he's a great player, an elite player, elite family, and that comes with recruiting. And certainly whenever you don't have a recruiting win, if you really are in it for the right reasons, you wish a player and his family the best. And he's certainly done a great job.
Yeah, it's funny. Smith came out and said if Miami was better, he might have gone there instead of Ohio State. If Miami had been on a different trajectory than Ohio State, he could have been a hurricane. It's and I still go back to that time when Ryan Day got the word from Jeremiah, like that look on his face. He was in the middle of a press conference, I believe, when that happened, when he got the official word on that. But how different things could have been, because Jeremiah Smith, he is so much fun to watch, Bob.
No, he's a program changer. And, I mean, I don't say that lightly. I've been around a lot of guys that were highly recruited players. And, I mean, I've been around a lot of guys that were highly recruited players that end up being great. You know, I'm Maurice Claret, a Ted Ginn, guys like that. I've been around a lot of guys that were super highly recruited that maybe didn't have the impact that people thought. So I never put a ton into that. And when people kept telling me, Jeremiah is this, and, our guy Berm is always, he was like, he's the best high school player I've ever seen. I'm like, all right, pump the brakes, big dog. Like, play with some good ones now.
Right, yes.
Okay. And he's like, I'm telling you, he'll be a starter. I go, nobody starts at Ohio State, like as a freshman. I mean, there's very few guys. You got to be on a special level. And he was right in that. And Jeremiah is on that level. And frankly, this is a testament to Ohio State, is to their consistency of excellence, that over the last 50 years, they've never had more than a year where they've struggled. And so people know them as a consistent winner. And that's a huge deal and a huge part of it. And so they don't have, like Miami, like a 20-year swoon, more or less, where they've had some pops since 2003, but nothing of consistency that's put them on the national landscape. And if they had, then maybe it would have been a different story for Jeremiah Smith, and if they had fans that showed up to their games, maybe that would also allow it to be a little bit of a different story. So there's a lot of elements that go into that. But having him over there, opposite Brandon Tate or Carnell Tate, like that changes the math, like of what you're able to do.
As far as walking around and things like that, have you seen, like, has it been, I'm sure you're with Ohio State fans as far as where you're seeing and stuff, but are you seeing many Miami fans running around there yet or not?
Dude, I haven't seen anybody from Miami. Yeah. And I was out last night. I mean, full disclosure here, Thitoff. I mean, this is the grind ram for you. I was hosting a party with your guy, Mekadon, and former Buckeye Devin Smith. And it was funny. I was talking to Devin. I go, bud, you're the age that I was when I was like back working out and training with you when you were in college. And he just started laughing. I was like, time's a funny thing. And I was, so it's like, that's kind of where it all is. But I mean, I was out till about 1 o'clock last night.
Holy cow, Bob.
1 o'clock Central Time. Yeah, Thitoff. That's the type of grind. I'm a Gruden grinder.
First of all, you've been off for 3 weeks. Don't tell me about you being a Gruden grinder. You've been off for 3 weeks.
I've been listening to the show and your mail-it-in efforts in there, trying to take this thing over, leaning against the wall over there. Don't give me that crap. Like you're over here some sort of champion of effort and hard work. All right. I'm down here waking up. Next week it'll be 4 a.m. for heaven's sake, and I don't even want to know what that'll be like. So hopefully the Buckeyes get the win.
Have you been inundated with requests for radio shows and stuff to talk about this game and to talk about the 0-2 game and stuff?
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's all I've been doing is doing hits and all this crap. And Rothman's like, "Can you do it tomorrow?" I'm like, buddy, I'm flying back. If my flight's not delayed, I'd come on with you at 2:30. I mean, I'm more than willing to do it. But yeah, I mean, this is my first 2 hours of 6 straight hours of media stuff that I have going on today. So I'm not a coffee drinker. As you could see, I was sipping on it.
Yes.
I'm going to, after this, probably grab some lunch and then just lay back down for about 3 hours, 4 hours before I head to the game. Because, yes, I'll be spinning around after getting back tonight at 1 o'clock, most likely, to do this again for you and then do some more stuff and then head to the airport. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
All right, coming up next, the NCAA took a stand, kind of. We'll talk about that. Morning Juice.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I mean, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step,
Bella, let's go.
guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
That's Bobby and Tito, Bodie. Mics were off there, Bodie?
Yes, they were.
The other day, Bob, we had a situation where the mics weren't off. And we were having...
That with Mo? Who was in for that?
Bodie was here that day. It was on Monday. And luckily, my mic was pushed way over to the side, so they couldn't pick up on what I was saying. I think I used some colorful language there, but luckily it didn't get picked up on. But yeah, so I always have to ask Bodie, especially for the last conversation, the mics were off. We still get people in the chat wanting us to do a show, Bobby, with what we'd be saying in the breaks. Do a podcast for that, and just compile all that. I don't know if that would go over well with some of the stuff we talk about, especially regarding Your Highness, who's on tomorrow. McChicken said, what did you think about that guy who was harassing the players as they were crossing the practice field? Did you hear about that, Bobby? Did you see that?
Wait, in Dallas?
Yeah.
Like the Ohio State players?
Yeah, there's some guy who was harassing them about losing Indiana and stuff like that. And he was like, every player was coming across.
Well, they were at practice because they practiced inside at Highland Park.
I think they were getting off the bus. Maybe it was. I was across the practice field. They were getting off the bus.
Yeah,
and
so they were walking through there.
Yeah, might have been it. Yeah, some jackass was
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. Who cares? Like, you want to go be the guy that is harassing, what's his name from Pittsburgh, and basically be the dude out of Happy Gilmore. Like, go for it. I don't care. It's a free country. You're free to be an idiot and expose yourself as what you are. Like,
don't I know that?
Don't feel the need to mask. Exactly. I mean, you're a guy Thitoff that, like Mike Vrabel, when you win, say little. When you lose, say less. Oh. My grandma would always say, like, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Just because you have a comment doesn't need to be said. Better to stay silent and to leave them wonder than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go with that. And in our great city or great country, you have the ability to open your mouth and to really let people know what's going on inside that brain, or lack of what's really going on in there.
James Anaji, he is a 2023 NBA draft pick, Bob, that has now been added to Baylor's basketball team. He was able to, he was picked in the 2023 draft. He was picked by a team in the NBA And now he is back playing college basketball a couple years later.
Why not?
Dan Hurley, the UConn head coach, said I had no idea that was even an option. I thought it was actually a joke when I saw it. It's assumed when you stay in the draft or you get drafted that you would forego your college eligibility. I was not aware of the loopholes in it. Yeah. Tom Izzo also complained about it and the fact that, what are we doing here kind of thing. And the NCAA now has come out, Bobby, and taken a stand on this. Here is their rule. Players with NBA contracts are not eligible to go back to college. So if you get drafted,
until they sue us,
right, and then that'll happen. Yes, that's what I was going to ask you about. So do you
call me? Maybe
it's ridiculous to me that guys could get in the NBA. Some guys playing in the G League actually have a couple years of experience in the G League, can now come back and play college basketball. And like this guy's getting added now. Obviously, the fact he was drafted in the NBA tells me he's got some talent, and now he gets added to a college roster at the end of December and has a chance to it seems odd that they would let something like this is going to have a huge impact on the middle of this season going on. Like, if you want to do it before the season starts, I'm still not in favor of it, but to let him add somebody now, I mean, now you can recruit players. You could be like you're a college coach. I guess you can recruit guys in the G League right now to come play right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, they bring back Michael Jordan. See, he probably got a little bit of juice left in the tank, He said he still wants to go win another national championship. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. It. When I heard that, I go, that's the most utterly ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, we can talk whether, it's truly amateur athletics or is it, NFL light now or all those different things. You're talking about bringing in a dude mid-year who is – like it was a drafted NBA player.
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Like, and people are like, well, why shouldn't he have the chance? Like, because you made your choice. You decided that you wanted to leave. And you decided that college wasn't for you. You don't get to go back and then try college again when the first decision you made didn't work out. Like, that's not how it works.
The NCAA made that statement because Trenton Flowers, who is with the Bulls right now, and has actually played in NBA games this year. He's played in 2 games this year.
Yeah.
He is exploring.
10-day contract when it ran out. So, yeah, he wanted to go back.
Wants to go back.
Hey, I guarantee you, Baylor, like, hey, dude, we'll give you $500,000. Like, great. That sounds amazing.
So
it's way better than what I was making in the NBA.
I had an argument. I can't remember who I argued with about this, but somebody. So there we go. That's your break. That's a real insight there.
Intelligent one.
Now, listen, Bob. Okay. Could you have, if this rule was already like something like if you hadn't signed your contract yet, you could go back. Do you think Shedeur Sanders would have gone back for another year at Colorado if after he got drafted in the 5th round by Cleveland? And I don't know if Cleveland was one of his desirable spots or not. I can't believe it would be, but if you got a guy like Shedeur Sanders who thought he'd be a first-round pick, thought he'd be a top 5 pick, ends up going in the 5th round, would he have said, the hell with this, I'm going to play another year for my dad at Colorado?
Like, Cartman, screw you guys, I'm going home. Maybe. I think that would have definitely been on the table. Like, why would it not have been? As you start to look at that.
Yeah, so if you can do it.
It's an option. It's the ultimate option now where, you had talked about like Elway saying and Bo Jackson, like they were going to go play baseball. Like, well, dude, I don't like where you drafted me, so I'm just going to go back to school. Like, what? Yeah, that sound. And so, well, okay. I mean, that's what's wild about it. I mean, you can't. I don't know. Like, I just don't understand why you would be able to, like, oh, what if Shedeur was happy after week 4, unhappy that he wasn't playing, and now I want to go back.
Right.
I'm going to hop on in, like, why not? I'm not the starting guy, or I'm behind Dylan Gabriel. Like, what are we doing? Like, you can't, as a society, to quote the late, great Charlie Murphy, like, you got to have, it's not right to step to this guy.
But what's stopping that from happening? If the NBA is going to allow, if the NCAA is going to allow, for the NBA players, for something like that, or a G League guy, what is stopping college football from doing the same thing with NFL players? Is it strictly because the NFL is a much stronger, or I don't know if there's a stronger union than the NBA or stronger, I'm trying to think of stronger leadership there than the NBA. Like what, I'm trying to think of what would impede that from happening. If it gets allowed this way with professional basketball players, why can't it happen with professional football players?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, could happen anywhere with any of the sports. If you're telling me that you can do it for one sport but not the other, I don't know why those two things would be mutually exclusive at this point. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot there that, comes into this. And they're going to have to actually make a decision here and say, you can't do this. And then they're going to have to go explain why. And hopefully they'll be able to do that in a digestible way that people will accept it.
I want to get a couple more clips in here from the Cotton Bowl press conference yesterday. This is Mario Cristobal talking about what he sees in Julian Sayin.
Well, to us, we thought he was a surefire Heisman finalist. He has complete control of the offense, extremely accurate. He gets you in the right place. He knows where pressure is coming, where it's not coming, where he's protected and where he's not. And he delivers the ball on the run, in the pocket, on the move. Certainly a guy that can beat you a lot of ways, and he can extend plays, can improvise. So he does not look like a young guy playing the position. He looks like a guy that's been there for a long time that has complete control of the offense.
And now before we comment on that, we have Ryan Day talking about what Julian needs to do.
As we all know, the rush and the secondary all works together. So, and Miami does as good a job as anybody in the country of putting those things together. So, we have to be efficient, and that's everybody involved with it. It's not just the quarterback getting the ball out or the line straining, which they have to do, but it's the receivers have to run the route, and they're running the route against the defensive line. It's everybody tied in with the timing of everything that comes with it. So we have to continue to be who we are and be aggressive, but at the same time, we have to understand what we're up against and our opponents. So we got to be on our game. But we also need to make sure that we understand what we're up against, and that'll be everybody involved with it. But balance will be important, as you know. We have to have great balance in this game, and so I think for Julian to be in the middle of all that is important, and he's done a good job throughout the season of making sure that we get into the right play, making sure that everybody's on the same page, and executing the offense down the field.
Yeah, it feels to me, Bob, like there were a couple times when, and part of it was because I think that Sayin was uncomfortable against Indiana because I don't think he had faced that amount of pressure all year long, and that was new to him. That was new to him to have to deal with that on the fly.
Yeah, not faced. Yeah, that's obvious. He'd been sacked 5 times all year. He got sacked 6 times in that game, most of which were in the first half. So, yeah, it was definitely something that was jarring for a young player who had never been put in that situation. I honestly think that was probably the best thing for him, and now he's seen it. And the thing was, he played a lot better in the second half when he had some time, and they were able to run the ball, and they started picking up some of the pressures and stunts a little bit better. So, those are all part of his experience and his learning journey. And he's a young first-year starting quarterback, and going through a game where you've got to run around a little bit, and maybe they're not getting it done for you the way that they had. I think all of that matters.
Yeah, as I'm thinking about it with that. I know it's the most pressure you faced all year. I'm saying, but it's like in the half though. And that's where I think that Ohio State, and not to say that Cignetti and the staff aren't a good staff, they obviously are, but I think
They're a great staff.
But I'm saying Ohio State, I think by and large, though, does a better job than maybe just about anybody of making adjustments at halftime. And you could see it with the way they held off Indiana's rush much better, like you said, in the second half, and Sayin did look more comfortable. I know it's not like a chicken and egg thing, but the fact that they were able to find a way to hold them at bay made Sayin look better. I still would, obviously 10 points is not ideal to score in a big game like that, but I certainly could see the improvements, and now you've got 3 weeks to prepare for Miami. And I'm sure that they've recognized some things they need to do better. There is some personnel changes, like you mentioned, on the offensive line that should lead to a better outcome for this offense going against Miami.
Yeah, I think Gabe Van Sickle, who's been rotating through. He's healthier. He moves probably a little better at picking stuff up. And we'll see if he's ready for the big moment now. And I think that he is. He's played through there and he's done some good things. So I don't think this is something that's going to just be completely overwhelming for him. And I think that it's going to be a great opportunity for him to go out there and have some success.
Since the first time you said this to me, Bob, every time I mention this player's name, I say I give you credit because, Lincoln Keenholz, you said, yeah, he's an NFL prospect, and it was the first time I'd heard anybody say it was when you said it. And so every time I say about Lincoln Keenholz, I say, yeah, Bobby thinks he's an NFL prospect, and not to say that I'm disagreeing with you, just that you're the first person I heard say that. And I know he came out this week and talked about he's talked to the coaching staff about what's in his best interest because he knows he wants to play in the NFL someday. and he needs to play in college consistently to get a shot at something like that. And I don't know if you have any knowledge on this or not, but do you think that South Florida is a viable option for him if he transfers out?
As far as like what? Like that would be someplace he would want to go, or they would want him, or
yes, both.
I think that I would anticipate that Brian would definitely want him. I would think that as well. There's an opportunity. There's probably going to be maybe greater opportunities elsewhere,
bigger profile opportunities. Yeah,
and it's just. Yeah, like as far as, maybe size of school. Yeah, and I don't know, like I said, I misspoke. Maybe higher profile. That's a better term for it, Thitoff. As far as what he wants to do. Because, like, I thought that Joe Burrow would have been a great fit at Cincinnati with Luke Fickell and everything that had been a part of that, and, him and, their relationship, and it was a surefire way for him to be on the field. And, it was a little bit of a step down, but you could still show your stuff, and I thought that would help him get probably drafted somewhere between the 3rd and 5th round. And it might be a similar situation for USF with Lincoln Kienholz. Does he believe that could he go to Wisconsin or go to a Washington or go to a school that maybe isn't quite like top 10 in prestige really of where they're at, but they're a school that needs a quarterback that has a viable path to make the CFP. So I think those things are all in play for him.
My exposure to Lincoln Kienholz, and that sounds weird saying that publicly. My exposure to Lincoln Kienholz, though, Bobby, is more of like
extends the locker room.
It's more of he's this guy who they bring in for running situations. Big guy, very athletic, but as you've seen him develop from the day he showed up.
Big guy, maybe the biggest. I
don't
know. I'm not saying, but I might be saying.
As you've seen him develop from the time he stepped on campus, is that a bad rap? Like, just look at him like, hey, he's a guy who can run and maybe pass a little bit. I mean, has he developed into?
He throws the ball well. Yeah, he throws the ball really well. Like he's got a lot of stuff about him, man. Like there's a lot of things that he can do. Like he is a good quarterback, and I think with time he could probably be a great quarterback. But he needs to get reps. He needs to get out there on the field. And if he does those things, then I think, yes, he could be able to, have more success. But some of it, in life is simply Thitoff just getting experience and being able to play. And, like, you have to do that to be able to improve.
I'm glad you did your Donald Trump there because it reminded me, Bob, the whole house has been battling like this flu thing going through whatever. I've avoided most of it, but I've had some nights where I haven't felt great. And when the other night I indulged in some NyQuil, and I had a NyQuil dream, which sometimes happen. In that dream, we had, and this just shows.
Did you mix that up in the scissor Thitoff, or you just take it straight?
I'm not going to comment on that publicly, but I'm just saying though, Bob, that in my dream, because of course, what do people dream about? They dream about work. I dreamed about us. We had Lou Holtz on our show, and and I asked you to do your Lou Holtz impression.
Jacob Wells is a fine American. Jacob Wells is a fine American.
I woke up before you answered
treat him with the respect that he deserves.
So you're telling me.
And listen, Marcus Freeman is not going to the NFL over my dead body. Now, that may only be for another 3 months, but as long as I'm alive, he'll be the head coach for the Fighting Irish.
If we had Lou Holtz on the show, would you do the impersonation of him?
Of course. I mean, Lou Holtz went on the McAfee show, and they had the dude with the Lou Holtz mask on, I think, doing like the dueling Lou Holtz back and forth. So, like, how would that be embarrassing for me? Like, why would I feel shame? Lou Holtz, I have tremendous respect for him. Like, he's a heck of a football coach.
You just killed him in 3 months.
The stuff that was said, well, he's older. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to die tomorrow, but I am saying he will die. Like, I don't think that's a shock. Okay,
yeah, it's okay.
Dude, I mean, hell, I could die by April, for heaven's sake. No one knows,
So you would do it then. Okay. Like I say, I woke up before you gave the answer in the dream. That's why I just want to make sure I heard the answer from you. By the way, Marcus Freeman, yes. Okay, we'll do this real quick. But I think if Andy Reid left, I would not blame or be surprised Marcus Freeman took that job. Right?
I don't know. I couldn't testify.
How about Cincinnati? If the Bengals job opens up, could you see Freeman wanting that job?
Tito, why are you doing this?
Well, that would be closer proximity-wise. There would be more positives. He does have Joe Burrow there, as opposed to Pat Mahomes. Like, if those were both open, net neutral. The problem is that you've got to deal with the Cincinnati organization.
Right.
That would be the drawback that you would be dealing with in that scenario, which I don't necessarily think would be the greatest situation either. So every one of them is going to have some pros and cons. Like, they're not going to be all positive and they're not going to be all negative. And it's just a function. Like, I don't know, like, truly what his why is and how he, what he ultimately values with everything. So yeah, I think all that's in play.
The camera shifts to Bodie when he talks, but not when he makes hand gestures at me like he just did for suggesting that Freeman could go somewhere else.
Listen, if he just wins one national championship, Tito, he can, you know what, he could go coach Al-Qaeda and I'd still root for him. So I don't care.
Bold statement.
He can go at any point if he just wins one national championship. Do it for Lou. Lou needs to see one more before
I don't know.
Lord calls him home.
I don't know if Bodie was telling me I'm number one or telling me something else. Coming up next, we'll tell you what's got us juiced. Morning Juice.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you've hit your medical deductible, now's the time to see Dr. Mark Levy. Get a custom oral appliance that stops snoring and helps you ditch that CPAP and pay less out of pocket. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com before the year ends.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. You don't want to start the new year off hurting. You don't want to start off the new year getting surgery. You don't want to start off the new year dealing with trying to plan something out into the future. What you want to do is get healthy. So what you want to do is go to my friends over at QC Kinetics. Dr. Tesner and his team, the medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Columbus, they can deliver regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas that are causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, back, shoulders, whatever it is, they can help you get ready. So instead of those invasive operations that's going to sideline you all of the early year, go check out our friends at QC Kinetics and see if they can help you today. Imagine moving better, being stronger, planning your year, doing what actually you want to do. So don't wait. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. They have offices located in Dublin and Gahanna, and they're already there for your free consultation. So go check them out today.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them, safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Your child is sick. With those 4 words, the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Don't let your insurance benefits go to waste. End the year sleeping better with Dr. Mark Levy's oral appliance. No mask, no noise, just results. Hurry, deductibles reset soon. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com today.
If you're looking for the inside scoop on the Buckeyes, you've come to the right place. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice, final segment of the program. Aaron in the chat, Bobby, says Tito's health versus Lou Holtz. I don't know. Maybe Tito will be with the Queen before Lou.
No, it's real.
I'm not sure to be health related. I will tell you this. My wife is so dedicated, even with the frozen ground out there, she's still working on that ditch she's been digging for a while back there. So even when it's cold, doesn't matter. Bob, she's back there shoveling away. She finds time every day. Yes.
Throw them in there.
That's what she's doing down there. Let's
let
tell
the earth shower over you.
Yes. Let's tell people what's got us juiced.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Sources tell me it's a Wednesday, Bobby. That means you go first.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's been a good time. Last year when I went to, the last two games, I went to the first one, then I didn't go to the Rose Bowl. And when I went down, I went for like 3 days each time, got the extra night in the hotel, did everything else. It was exhausting. So this year I was like, when I'm going out to Dallas, I'm just going the day before. A lot of the guys I wanted to see, they were going to be doing stuff. So I was like, okay, let's figure out, exactly what we can do. But I've had a good time. It was a busy day. It's going to be, a busier day. I'm glad to be able to check this off the list. It's good to talk to you guys again. Being up till 1 o'clock last night and then spinning around and waking up at about 4:30 and trying to figure out everything of how this looks and the setup here, which, I don't know if you guys can see. It's pretty, I've got a pretty long, this thing might be like, I don't know, like 600-700 square feet, 800 square feet in here. It's pretty good. Nice little setup I've got. So fortunately, I'm not going to be using it all that much, but we'll be good to crawl back into bed. I'm excited 4 hours from now to be able to get more sleep. So that is a positive note. And then also, if you can see here, they've got these sweet little cups for the Cotton Bowl and the CFP. They always got great little swag. I should have probably grabbed another one of these last night from downstairs in the lounge. But some nice little swag to get. The kids love it. And hopefully we'll be getting a big Buckeye victory tonight. And I'll be joining you tomorrow celebrating and talking about this. I am reserving a flight right now for Phoenix. I'll have 24 hours to cancel it. So hopefully I won't be needing to do that, and we'll be onward and upward to bigger and better things. Cody, what Schleig's got to say?
You guys got to remember back in the day, and we always have this Michigan guy that gets in our chat. I'm like, you guys got extra benefits you're paying for players. I was like, bro, I just wanted an extra scoop at Chipotle. We couldn't even have peanut butter out.
Bob, Joe Walsh once said, I live in hotels and tear out the walls and have accountants pay for it all. So if the Buckeyes do win tonight, you can have the after party in that hotel room right there. You got plenty of space. What's got me?
And someone scraping me up at 4:30 to do the show.
It's hard to leave when you can't find the door. What has me juiced today, guys? So normally about 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30 each night is when I go to bed. And so obviously I miss, a lot of the sports that happen there after that. So first thing I do, like any healthy human being, when I wake up is immediately look at my phone, because that's a really good habit that I've gotten into. But nevertheless, wake up, look at it.
Take a bump of cocaine, have a shot of whiskey, and your day's ready to go.
A little bump. So I jump on the ESPN app real quick. I saw the Irish beat Stanford and what was the score here? I think it was 47-40. The football team scored more points against Stanford than the basketball team did. But hey, they won, so I guess we got that going for us. Scroll down a little bit, saw the Celtics beat the Jazz in Utah last night. Stayed up for the first quarter or so of that one, so they kind of came back a little bit and won that one. And then, last but certainly not least, speaking of Al-Qaeda, the terrorist organization group known as the University of Southern California's football team. You just hate to see a team blow a 10-point lead in their bowl game, Tito. That was the last game that some of those guys will ever play in that uniform. And Lincoln Riley spent, half the week crying and complaining about not having to lose to Notre Dame anymore. Meanwhile, he can't even win the Alamo Bowl, and that guy's deciding the fate and future of Notre Dame-USC's rivalry. So I was pretty juiced to see that USC lost what was their fourth game last night, Tito.
The good news for him, though, Bodie, is he's going to be able to hire his brother now.
As they say, Tito, all that hate's going to burn you up, but it keeps me warm.
Do we have a definitive answer on why? Did Notre Dame pull the plug, or did USC pull the plug?
Tito, yeah, I'll tell you right now.
You got the definitive answer.
Sir, I feel comfortable saying this, yes. Non-reporter, but
yes,
pretty locked into it.
All right.
They had an agreement
Steve
in
Kerr's
place.
Gonna verify. Steve Kerr's going to verify this. You better.
That's you. What else you
so
signed?
they had an agreement in place to continue the rivalry for 2 more years, just like they've played it for the last however many decades. Okay. We'll go to Southern Cal the end of next year. They'll come to South Bend in October the following year. And then USC, I don't know, I guess just realized they were probably going to lose those 2 games, so they really needed to get out of it. And so they went back to Notre Dame. First off, they used the excuse of that MOU coming out where if Notre Dame's in the top 12,
right? Yeah,
like they're in.
They're in.
Even though that was reported more than a year. They're just finding excuses.
What
Bob.
does that
That's
have to do with USC?
What Lincoln Riley does, man. And so they went back to Notre Dame and offered them a week 0 game, but for you to be able to, the NCAA, which, I don't know, I guess you could just sue them and play it wherever, but it has to be, it can't be, you either have to play Hawaii or outside the country. Well, Notre Dame wasn't going to agree to a game against USC in week 0 in Mexico, and then go to Lambeau Field and play Wisconsin the following week.
Okay.
So they basically gave them a poison pill, and then as soon as Notre Dame was like, yeah, we're not doing this, then it just immediately, USC just flooded the PR world with, see, they're backing out. Why would we back out? We beat them every year. Why do we need to chicken out of this game, man?
The poison pill deal about the not in the continental United States, I had forgotten that was part of it because it's like, well, play them week 0, kick off the season with it. I'm fine.
And if we wanted to play, especially at home, home and home series, which is where they've played it for the last 100 years, then I totally agree with you, Bob. But to try to take that game outside the U.S. and then, look, I know Wisconsin is falling a good ways here, but I still don't think it'd be smart scheduling to go play that game against USC somewhere else and then turn around and have to play at Lambeau right after that.
Who are we doing a service to there by playing that game in another country or in Hawaii?
Why would USC want to do that? Why would you not want to play at home?
So, but there were in the week 0 this past year, you had the Iowa State-Kansas game. That was played overseas, right?
Uh-huh.
You had Stanford at Hawaii. You also had Idaho State at UNLV, Fresno State at Kansas, and Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. Those were home games for them, I believe.
I don't know.
Well, they consider Western Kentucky another country.
Okay, fair.
Just different places. I think you have to probably get waivers, and not that you can't get a waiver. I mean, for anything.
Right.
I mean, I think Diego Pavia is coming back again for his unprecedented, 17th season.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's all. Joe Theismann's coming back to quarterback the Irish next year too. So it's like all those things are going to happen, but they would have to get it, which to me, the other thing is like, just put it in there. Go ahead and do it. Like, and play the game. What's the NCAA going to say? The game doesn't count? Like,
right.
Okay. Too bad. We're playing it anyway.
Yeah, and I don't think the playoff committee would have been like, the NCAA said this game wouldn't count. Yeah, I don't think it's not so much about the week 0 game. I agree. Bobby, you said it there, and Tito, you too. I'm sure they could have gotten a waiver and wanted to play it, but they had an agreement in place to continue the series as it has been at USC end of next year, back in South Bend middle of the following year, and then USC backed out of that.
Hall of Fame chatter, Kathy, Bobby asked a question here, and I think I know the answer already, but what about Lincoln playing another position at Ohio State? That wouldn't happen. There's no way that happens, right? He's going to go be a quarterback somewhere.
Yeah, I thought he could probably play safety at a lot of schools. I don't know if he could play safety quite at Ohio State with the guys they have, but he could do that. But I think he's a guy who's a quarterback. He wants quarterback, and frankly, I think that he is a guy that could play in the NFL at quarterback. Now, to what degree, that depends on how much he's going to improves with his experience of actually being on the field, but he has shown me enough during his time at Ohio State that I think he has a very high ceiling, and it's just a function of how quickly he can get there.
So what's got me juiced? Yes, tonight's game, obviously. And it could be a nervous poop night for me. I'll be that nervous going to the game. I feel very confident Ohio State winning, but
like a Joe Paul situation?
Yes, it could be that,
Paul
Bob.
Pierce?
Yes, it could be a Paul Pierce. It might be something like that, Bob. Yes. So I am very confident in Ohio State. I'm very confident in this coaching staff and Matt Patricia specifically. Let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you this, Bob. Bodie won't, because Bodie doesn't care. Because Notre Dame's not playing, so Bodie doesn't care. But Bobby, are you hoping
I care about Miami losing, Tito?
There we go. Okay. Do you, Bobby, hope for a close, exciting game, or Ohio State just blowing them out?
I just want them to look good. I mean, they can win by 7. They can win by 70. Just go look good. and look competent in it. I think that they're probably, the line is 10. I think they're 10 points or more better than Miami if they play well. So go be that. But I think there also is a space where you could win the game by 4-7, and you could still look good doing it because Miami's.
Will you be on the sideline, Bob?
I have not decided where I will be consuming the game. I did run into a gentleman yesterday who asked me to go to his suite, so I might end up doing that. I think it's a pretty good one.
Michael Irvin?
No, Michael. Honestly, I might wrestle him on the sideline.
I was going to ask about that. If you bump into somebody like that, yeah. Like, will you talk trash to former Miami players if you engage with them?
I can't with Michael Irvin. He's out of his mind, dude. He's probably just going to bed right now.
That's the guy.
And I'm saying probably meaning probably, yeah. He's the dude that goes out until 4 a.m. the night before New Year's Eve. Like he's just ramping up, baby, gassing all the way.
That's what I want you to do, Bob. Get somebody of that ilk in your room with you tomorrow morning when we do the show. I don't care if it's Irvin. I don't care if it's.
Hey, Bob, who's that over there laying on the couch?
Right.
Oh, that's the playmaker.
That's what I'm saying. Bob, think about the content.
The playmaker, right over my shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah, right over there.
Yeah.
That's the playmaker just
Right.
sitting laying. Oh, there he is.
Since we know that.
Is he alive?
He's you checked on him? His chest is going up and down. He's breathing.
I mean, we know that the soldier's not available, but if you could get somebody like Irvin or somebody like that in your room tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Dallas time. Content, Bob.
Yeah, that'd be something. I don't know if I can handle him. Now, I will say this, Bodie, were you happy to hear Keyshawn Johnson about everything? A lot of the former USC players,
I think that's the thing.
They're pissed.
That how, because, and look, people don't like Notre Dame, I get that, but there's so many people that it's like, I see Joel Klatt. He's always got something to say, and it's not normally very intelligent, but it's like, there's no reason to schedule Notre Dame, which okay, Miami, Texas A&M got in the playoff this year. And also, last I checked, people really care about money, and Notre Dame always helps bring that. But it's priceless to me to hear people, whether it's media or fans, act like, by God, how can Notre Dame do this? And then you see every, former Carson Palmer, like you just said there, Bob, Keyshawn Johnson, these former USC legends are like, this whole Lincoln Riley, and then I think her name's Jen Cohen or something like that, the athletic director out there, is like, they're pissed at them. And it's like, well, that kind of, tells you all you need to know.
I would say it's a similar thing with what happened with Penn State and them not wanting to play Ohio State anymore. Like anybody who I knew who played at Penn State was like, dude, this is soft. Like, why would we not want to play him? We loved that playing in that game. The solution is go win it. Then it's fun. But don't tell me you're just not going to play them because you feel like you can't win the game. That's soft with 2 Fs. Let's go.
And especially too, as they, obviously a lot of this is centered around the fact that they joined the Big Ten, and it's just constantly been like, oh, who could have guessed that USC would have to travel all the way across the country to play Big Ten games? Who could have seen that coming?
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Who could have seen their schedule getting more difficult by adding Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State on there? And by the way, the best of the Pac-12 came with them. I mean, Oregon and Washington are 2 schools that are traditionally pretty strong there in that conference, and they came along with them to join the Big Ten. Who could have possibly seen their schedule becoming more difficult by killing the Pac-12 and joining the Big Ten? Everybody knew that was going to happen.
Our coverage starts here on the Fan at 2:00 today for tonight's game. Bobby, great seeing you. Great that all 3 of us are here together again. I'll put a semi-mega tease out there. Tomorrow morning, we're on at 6:00. It'll be Bodie, it'll be myself, it'll be Bobby, and it could be Michael Irvin. We're not sure. Bobby's going to work on that.
Might be just Austin. It could be Austin Ward laying back there.
Another one. There you go. It could be Austin Ward. Austin Ward, Michael Irvin, Tony Romo, Jerry Jones. Get somebody, Bobby, and we will talk to you